What is up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health, fitness, social well-being. And today, guys, I'll be taking you through day 3 on my current meso cycle. In my last workout video, you guys already saw day 1 and day 2. So this is day 3, which is focused on pretty much higher volume squats and then lighter but higher volume deadlifts as well, like the secondary deadlift day and my secondary squat day. The only difference, as I kind of went over in the last workout video compared to last meso cycle, is instead of working up to a top set of 6, then having 3 back down sets of 8, I'm working up to a top single and then having 3 back down sets of 6. So my back down sets are still obviously higher volume than on my intensity day. For this mesocycle, I'm doing sets of 3. But the purpose of having, like, you know, a top single, because I do doubles and triples on my heavier day, the purpose of having a top single on today is just because we're getting closer to the meet. We're less than 7 weeks out, so it's to just let me get under heavier loads more often. It's still at a very, like, relatively low RPE, like RPE 6. Last week I worked up to just like 380. I'll probably work up to 385, 390-ish today, simply due to the fact that I did 385 for my top double this past weekend. On my heavier day, it's supposed to be like an RP 7, but it felt more like 6, 6.5. So there's no reason I shouldn't be able to hit like 385, 390 for a top set, for a top single at RP 6 today, unless I'm just feeling fatigued. But we'll see how I'm feeling with warm-ups as I work my way up. While doing all that, gonna be taking you guys through what my bracing sequence is currently, as far as the overall like setup from the moment that I grab the bar to all the way to I'm in the hole and back up, taking you guys through the whole thing. A lot of you have been requesting that I do so since I took you through my entire 7 bracing sequence with the deadlifts. We're gonna be doing that. Gonna be also explaining to you guys, like, you know, why I'm back in squat shoes. Actually, I'll explain that right now. So pretty much, you guys know that I prefer flats. I've done like 2 meets in flats, 2 meets in squat shoes, and I prefer flats. I don't have any ankle mobility issues, any issues with hitting depth. And before, when I was using squat shoes, my Romaleos, specifically because the heel's so high, because there's squat shoes that have, like, you know, not as high of a heel, but with those, because I'm a very quad dominant squatter and how I used to set up where I would break at the knees first really hard, it just started to wear on my knees. But now that I've worked on my overall form and setup with Brendan, where I'm now at the point of, like, you know, timing things better with breaking at the knees and the hips at the same time, getting that equal distribution of tension throughout my entire body, so my glutes and hamstrings, you know, can help me in the movement as well. It's a lot more consistent. My form's a lot more consistent. It's a lot better. No wear and tear on my knees, but I'm also a little bit slower out of the hole because just less quad drive, less quad work. So by putting on the squat shoes, it kind of helps me counteract that, get a bit more quad activation, and it's kind of that balance with my new form in the squat shoes. I still have my nice, tight, consistent form, but I'm able to come out of the hole a little bit faster. I've never been like a crazy fast squatter anyway, unless I'm like dive bombing it, which obviously you don't want to do. I'm more of like, you know, I gauge my RP, my reps based off consistency more so than speed, but the squat shoes definitely like help me get a little bit more burst out of the hole as far as the quad drive. So that's why I'm using the squat shoes. But anyway, yeah, gonna be taking you guys through, you know, my whole squat setup, taking you guys through this little workout. Gonna be joined by Derek and Bianca. Most of you have already met Derek already, but those of you who haven't, gonna go ahead and let him, you know, introduce you guys to him a little bit, or, you know, I don't know if he's gonna say hi or mug me today, just depends on his mood. And then I don't think any of you have ever met Bianca officially. You've probably seen little clips of her here and there at POD, but gonna be introducing her as well. They're both doing the Summer Power Fest with me, so yeah, it's gonna be a good time. That's enough talking. Let's go get in this work. Alright guys, so we're in POD. It's actually kind of wrecked and empty right now because they're in the process of moving into a new space, which is gonna be really dope. But we here with the homie Derek, aka Blade. What's up, Derek, man? I don't think people have seen you in a little bit, man. What you got to say to the people, man? They missed you.
Hey, follow your boy on Instagram, Tune_Matata. You know, Marcellus will put it underneath. Give me a quick follow.
Yeah, you know, we got you. No,
hey,
but
better do that shit.
No, but Derek and I actually, like I said, guys, we're gonna be having people on my channel. We're going over different genetics and stuff like that, and Derek's gonna be the first person I actually have on there. We're gonna talk about elite genetics versus drug use. We're gonna talk about how the gene pool and powerlifting is changing and pretty much why that's actually happening. Talk about body recomposition, all that good stuff. But yeah, y'all go ahead and give my boy a follow. And over here, got the homie Bianca. She already warming up. I'm gonna have her Instagram on screen as well. Y'all be sure to give her a follow. She's alright for the most part, pretty cool person. So, you know. Anyway, about to get warmed up, get this video started. Alright guys, jumping in for a voiceover so I can go over what my setup on the squat is, going over the setup when I'm getting under the bar, going over everything as far as my bracing, and then what I'm thinking about cueing wise while I'm actually performing the squat itself. So right now you guys are just kind of seeing everything when it's all kind of put together during my warm-up, so we're going to break down each part individually. So you guys noticed that the first thing I was making sure I was doing is, of course, make sure that my hands are even on the bar. Very simple thing to do, but something that some people often miss, which is sometimes why you can see people have a slight bar tilt, simply because their hands aren't even on the bar, so when they're going under it, they're not actually in the center of the bar. But once you've got that simple part down, you're actually holding the bar correctly, the first thing you guys are going to notice I'm really focusing on is really getting my shoulder blades pinched together. I'm really trying to retract my scapula to create that shelf that the bar is going to be resting on. Now, from this point, once I actually step out, the main things I'm focusing on before I initiate the squat is getting tight. To do this, I'm going to drive my elbows down. Doing so is going to allow me to really open my chest up, which is going to help me stay nice and upright. It's going to help me engage my back more, and while doing this, I'm also going to be squeezing my glutes. And once again, just like with the deadlift, I'm squeezing my glutes to bring my back out of extension because I want my torso nice and rigid so I can get as tight as possible. And in addition to helping myself get tight while I'm squeezing my glutes, I'm also twisting my feet into the ground, creating that torsion with my 3 points of contact, my big toe, my pinky toe, and my heel, which you guys are going to see right here very distinctly when I actually, boom, right there, twist my feet into the ground. It's going to allow me to get tight as far as my quads. It's going to give me more quad drive as I'm coming out of the hole. And by twisting my knees as I'm focusing on the eccentric part of the motion, as I'm focusing on, like, not twisting my knees, twisting my feet into the ground, it allows me to focus on making sure that my knees stay pushed out as I'm going down into the hole. And then when I'm coming back up, it's just a matter of not letting my knees collapse back in, which is really easy to do if you're focusing on twisting your feet into the ground as you're going down to begin with in the first place. And you guys are going to see Derek's doing the same thing here. And keep in mind, even though, you know, we all have different builds, even though some of us may be closer stance squatters, wider stance squatters, some of us may be more toes forward, some of us are more toes out, we can still use these same general cues to get set up in terms of tightness. So like I said, the first goal that I'm thinking about is getting as tight as possible. So once I'm under that bar, and once I'm in my position in terms of, okay, my elbows are down, which is getting my back nice and tight, allowing me to stay nice and upright. My glutes are squeezed, which gets my back out of extension. I've got my feet twisted into the ground. After that, not before, not during, but after I get as tight as possible, then I actually brace into my core, and then I squat. And once I get into the hole, guys, while coming up, I'm really trying to focus on maintaining that upper body positioning. Meaning, obviously, my glutes are going to stay squeezed as I'm coming down into the squat, but I want to make sure that I'm keeping my elbows driven down the entire time so I can keep my chest nice and up, and which is going to allow me to stay in that nice upright position. Now, granted, how far your elbows are going to be down is going to vary from person to person. You guys are probably going to notice that that Derek's elbows are actually more under the bar than what mine are, and then our coach Brendan's elbows are literally almost like directly under the bar. A lot of it has to do kind of just like with your own shoulder mobility, but it also has to do with, you know, getting them as low as you can without losing that shelf. You don't want to get your elbows so low to where you completely lose the shelf and then the bar just rolls down your back. You don't want to do that. But the key is, regardless of how far you can get them down, you want to focus on maintaining that tightness by keeping them down throughout the entire motion. You guys can see as I'm coming up, my elbows are trying to fight to shoot up, but I'm constantly focused on keeping them down during the entire lift. And the same thing with Bianca. Like I said, you guys are going to notice different builds, so slightly different stances. Bianca's a little bit more toes forward and knees forward, but we're still trying to go with the same general cues as far as, you know, getting nice and tight as we're squatting. And now from this front view, you guys are going to see, both for Derek and myself, what the whole setup kind of looks like in terms of our positioning, and just really pay attention to how, like, he's staying nice and upright the entire time. That's the thing. We don't want to fold over like a lawn chair. We don't want to turn the squat into a good morning. We want to maintain that upright position as best as we possibly can and let the muscles involved do the work they're supposed to. Like, we want to keep our back tight, and that's what's stabilizing us, but the quads are still a primary mover even in the low bar squat, and that's what we want doing the work to get the weight up. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's essentially what my setup looks like. And those are the cues that I'm thinking about as I'm squatting, as far as maintaining tightness, maintaining position. And that's the thing you guys are going to notice too, like, in terms of like gauging my RPE and stuff like that, I'm not the fastest squatter. I don't go just based off the speed of the reps. I do a lot of it based off, of course, you know, feel like, okay, do I feel like I actually have, like, you know, 2 reps left in the tank, 3 reps in the tank? But beyond that, a lot of it's about how well do I maintain position, how consistent are my reps. But that's another topic for another time, another video. Brandon and I actually plan on doing together. So for the time being, just gonna let you guys enjoy the rest of this workout. Alright guys, back at the crib. Took your boy 2 hours to get back home. So POD, like I said, is close to the Dallas area. I live in Fort Worth, and it's usually about, like, 50-minute to an hour drive, but traffic was horrible, man. There was accidents, people were driving the wrong way on the highway. I'm not even joking, like, that legit happened at one of the accidents. It's crazy, bro. People can't drive. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the workout. Everything felt really good today, all in all. Really happy with that 385 at RP6. It honestly felt and moved better than what 380 did for RP6 last week. And like I said, I'm sure I've mentioned at some point during the voiceover, like, there's a certain way that you learn to gauge your own RPE. Like I said, different people rep at different speeds, right? Like with Derek, we can gauge a lot of his reps based off the speed of them. With me, it's more about like consistency of my reps and how well maintaining position, which really is important for everybody, how well you maintain your position. And this being able to be like somewhat objective with yourself, even though that's hard, being honest with like, okay, yeah, I had this many reps left in the tank. Having a friend like, I do this for Derek and he does it for me, as far as like a friend that watches you train consistently and can help gauge what your RPEs are. But I'll probably be doing a video over that at some point in the future, how to like get to the point where you can accurately do that. Brandon and I actually joke about needing to do a video like that together anyway, so maybe we'll find a way to do that. But all in all, guys, I'm feeling really good. The only thing you guys didn't get to see today was like the accessory work, which literally was just like leg curls for mile reps, but there's no leg curl machine in POD currently, because like I said, they're moving stuff around, but it's gonna be really lit. The new location's already looking really good, so I can't wait to show you guys that once that's done. But that is it for this video. I'm feeling good, guys. We're less than 7 weeks out and things are just coming together nicely. But yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If you did not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I do to get better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.